The vast darkness of space shimmered as the Nexus Collective's most advanced scout ship, the Stellar Seeker, dropped out of hyperspace. Its crystalline hull gleamed under the light of an unremarkable yellow star, while its quantum sensors probed the surrounding space with invisible tendrils of energy. First observer Elena Voss stood at the ship's neural interface chamber. Her consciousness merged with the vessel's advanced systems as she processed the unusual readings that had brought them to this remote sector. These energy signatures are unlike anything in our database, she communicated to her crew through their neural link. They suggest technological advancement far beyond our initial assessment. Her consciousness expanded through the ship's sensors, painting a picture of the solar system before them. 8 planets orbited the yellow star, but it was the third planet that drew their attention. Second observer Karn, his scaled skin reflecting the soft blue light of the interface chamber, joined her in the neural space. The Collective's records show this system as pre-industrial just 3 centuries ago. These readings must be incorrect. His doubt rippled through their shared consciousness, but Elena could sense his underlying anxiety. They pressed forward, passing the outer gas giants without incident. Yet as they approached the asteroid belt, something changed. The ship's quantum sensors detected a subtle shift in the fabric of space itself. Before Elena could react, a massive holographic display materialized before them, spanning several kilometers of space. The message it carried was both simple and impossible. Protected space. Earth defense network. Unauthorized entry prohibited. The message repeated in every known language of the Collective, and several they didn't recognize. But it wasn't the message that stunned Elena, it was the technology behind it. The hologram existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, making it impossible to bypass or ignore. It was the kind of technology that should have taken millennia to develop. First observer, Karn's thoughts carried an edge of panic. We're detecting similar warning systems throughout the entire system. The technology. It's not just advanced, it's beyond theoretical limits. Elena felt his consciousness withdraw slightly from the neural interface, a natural response to fear. She maintained her composure, though her own amazement threatened to overwhelm her. Launch quantum probes. Let's see what we're really dealing with. The ship deployed a swarm of microscopic sensors, each capable of analyzing space-time at the quantum level. The data that flowed back through their neural network was staggering. The entire solar system was encased in layers of quantum fields, some so complex they defied analysis. These weren't mere defensive barriers. They were manipulating the fundamental forces of the universe itself. Before Elena could order a retreat, space rippled like water disturbed by a stone. A vessel emerged. Or perhaps it had always been there, simply choosing now to become visible. It was unlike anything in the Collective's vast database of ship designs. Its hull seemed to be made of solid darkness, absorbing both light and sensor scans. No engine emissions, no energy signatures, nothing that suggested how it moved or functioned. A transmission cut through their quantum communications, as if their most sophisticated encryption didn't exist. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Network. Your presence has been noted, and your technological analysis attempts have been logged. This system is under protection. State your intentions. Elena shared a quick burst of thought with her crew before responding. I am First Observer Elena Voss of the Nexus Collective scout ship Stellar Seeker. We detected unusual energy signatures and came to investigate. Our records showed this system as technologically primitive. A pause then. Your records are outdated by design. First Observer Voss. Earth chose isolation centuries ago, and we maintained that choice through active technological superiority. Your Collective's expansion is known to us, but not welcome here. Elena felt her crew's shock ripple through the neural network. The implications were staggering. This civilization hadn't just surpassed them. They had been watching, analyzing, and choosing not to interact. Captain Chen, the Collective seeks only peaceful contact and trade. Surely we can. No. The response was immediate and final. We are not interested in joining your collective, trading with your worlds, or sharing our technology. This is not negotiable. A subtle shift in quantum fields around them suggested they were about to experience something unprecedented. As a courtesy, we will transport your vessel back to collective space. Your sensors will retain enough data to confirm our technological superiority, but not enough to understand or replicate it. Consider this your species' only warning. Earth and its solar system are off limits. Before Elena could respond, reality itself seemed to blur. When it solidified, they were back in collective space, light years from Earth. Their quantum sensors were flooded with data that seemed to contradict itself, readings that suggested capabilities that should have been impossible. As Elena prepared her report for the Collective Council, she realized they had just encountered something unprecedented. A civilization that had not only surpassed them technologically, but had chosen to use that superiority to maintain isolation rather than dominance. The question was, what would the collective do with this information? The implications kept cycling through her mind. Somewhere out there was a human civilization so advanced they could rewrite the laws of physics, yet they chose to remain hidden. Were they protecting themselves from the rest of the galaxy? Or was there something else, something bigger, they were protecting the galaxy from? The grand chamber of the Nexus Collective hummed with tense energy as Elena Voss's report echoed through the neural network connecting the assembled council members. The crystalline walls of the chamber reflected cascading patterns of light that matched the emotional resonance of the gathered representatives, mostly showing patterns of disbelief and concern. High Counselor Xarin, their biomechanical form shifting between states of matter as they processed the information, spoke first. First Observer Voss, you realize the implications of what you're suggesting. A civilization capable of manipulating quantum reality itself, hiding in plain sight. Elena stood firm, her neural implants projecting the sensor data for all to see. The evidence is irrefutable, High Counselor. The Earth Defense Network possesses technology that makes our most advanced systems appear primitive by comparison. They didn't just move our ship, they rewrote local spacetime to relocate us instantly across light years. Impossible. The outburst came from Counselor Mira, her crystalline form vibrating with agitation. No species could advance so quickly. Your data must be corrupted. With respect, Counselor, Karn stepped forward, his scaled skin now bearing the formal markings of testimony. We conducted full systems diagnostics after the encounter. The data is real. Earth has somehow mastered technology we considered theoretical. The chamber erupted in overlapping neural communications, thousands of thoughts and theories competing for attention. High Counselor Xarin raised a limb, restoring order through the neural network. We need more information. First Observer Voss, your new assignment is to lead a covert observation mission. We must understand the true extent of Earth's capabilities. Elena felt her heart sink. High Counselor, attempting to spy on Earth would be unwise. Their quantum detection capabilities far exceed our stealth technology. Then we will develop better stealth technology, Xarin declared. We cannot allow an unknown power of this magnitude to exist without understanding their intentions. 3 cycles later, Elena found herself aboard the newly commissioned Shadow Whisper, a vessel incorporating the Collective's most advanced stealth systems. They had positioned themselves at the edge of Earth's solar system, using a quantum variance field to mask their presence. She knew it was futile, but orders were orders. What they discovered over the next few days shook the foundations of everything the Collective believed about technological progression. Their long-range quantum sensors, despite being severely limited by Earth's defensive systems, painted a picture of a civilization that seemed to operate outside the normal laws of physics. First Observer, one of her sensor operators, called out, "I'm detecting quantum fluctuations across multiple star systems. They all lead back to Earth." Elena expanded her consciousness through the ship's neural network, analyzing the data herself. What she saw left her speechless. Earth had established a vast network of quantum corridors throughout the galaxy, not for travel or communication, but for observation and protection. They watched as Earth vessels, nearly invisible to their sensors, quietly eliminated threats to developing civilizations across hundreds of light years. A rogue asteroid threatening a pre-industrial world was gently redirected. A natural gamma-ray burst that would have sterilized a promising young system was somehow contained and dispersed. They're not hiding, Elena realized, sharing her epiphany through the neural network. They're protecting all of us. They've been doing it for centuries. The evidence continued to mount. Earth ships had been silently preventing disasters, redirecting spacefaring predator species, and stabilizing dangerous astronomical phenomena throughout known space. The collective's peace wasn't just their own achievement. They had been under Earth's hidden protection all along. A sudden shift in quantum fields around their ship announced the failure of their stealth systems. A familiar voice came through their communications. "First Observer Voss, we gave you one warning. You chose to ignore it." Captain Chen's ship materialized beside them, its dark hull seeming to bend reality around it. "However, since you've discovered the truth about our activities, perhaps it's time for a proper conversation about why we choose to remain isolated." Elena felt a strange sensation as her consciousness was gently lifted from the Shadow Whisper's neural network. She found herself standing in what appeared to be a sunlit room on Earth's surface, facing Captain Chen in person. The quantum manipulation technology required to achieve this was beyond anything she could comprehend. "Welcome to Earth, First Observer," Chen smiled. "Let me show you why we've chosen to be the galaxy's silent guardians, and why joining your collective would prevent us from protecting everyone, including you." As Elena took in her surroundings, she realized she was about to learn secrets that would change the collective's understanding of the galaxy forever. The question was, were they ready for the truth? The holographic simulation surrounding Elena shifted, transforming the sunlit room into a vast observatory. Through its quantum-enhanced windows, she could see the entire galaxy spread out before her, alive with flowing streams of data and pulsing markers that indicated Earth's hidden activities throughout known space. 300 years ago, Captain Chen began, gesturing to a particular region of space. Humanity made a discovery that changed everything. We detected what we call reality fractures, places where the fundamental fabric of the universe had been damaged by advanced technological civilizations. The holographic display zoomed in on a distant sector, showing what looked like cracks in space itself. Elena's scientific training struggled to process what she was seeing. Damaged by technology. By the careless use of faster-than-light travel, artificial gravity, and energy generation, Chen explained. Every civilization eventually discovers these technologies, but most rush to implement them without understanding the long-term consequences. The damage accumulates over millennia, weakening the barriers between dimensions. The simulation showed thousands of these fractures throughout the galaxy, some pulsing with ominous energy. We found evidence of multiple civilizations that had literally torn their local spacetime apart, causing their entire species to vanish into dimensional rifts. The collective's current technology path would have led to the same outcome within a few thousand years. Elena felt a chill as she processed this information. This is why Earth isolated itself, to prevent this damage. Partially, Chen nodded. We chose a different path. Instead of brute forcing our way through spacetime, we learned to work with it. Our quantum manipulation technology doesn't damage reality. It works in harmony with it. But more importantly, we discovered something worse than the fractures. Before Chen could continue, an alert pulsed through the observatory. A massive collective battle fleet had just appeared at the edge of the solar system. Nearly 1,000 ships, led by High Counselor Xarin themselves. Chen seemed unsurprised. Right on schedule. Your collective fears what it doesn't understand, and always resorts to shows of force. She turned to Elena. Watch carefully, First Observer. This is why we don't share our technology freely. The battle fleet approached Earth's defense perimeter, their weapons charged and shields at maximum. High Counselor Xaren's transmission boomed through the observatory. This is the Nexus Collective High Council. Your isolation ends today. You will share your technology and join the collective, or we will take it by force. Chen's response was calm. High Counselor, we acknowledge your presence. We will demonstrate why your threats are meaningless, not out of malice, but as a lesson in humility. She made a simple gesture, and Elena watched in awe as space itself seemed to gently fold around the collective fleet. In an instant, the 1,000 ships found themselves arranged in a perfect sphere around Earth, but each ship now faced outward, away from the planet. Their weapons and shields remained active, but had been redirected to protect Earth from external threats rather than threaten it. We could have sent your fleet back to collective space, Chen explained to the stunned High Counselor, or disabled your ships, or 1,000 other options. Instead, we've temporarily recruited you to help us with our primary mission. Look outward, High Counselor. Look at what we've been protecting you from. The space around the fleet rippled, and suddenly every ship's sensors could detect what Earth's quantum fields have been hiding. Massive tears in reality, slowly spreading through space. And through these tears, something was trying to get in. The fractures aren't just damage, Chen continued, her voice now reaching the entire fleet. They're entry points. There are things outside our universe that seek to enter it, things that consume entire civilizations. We discovered this centuries ago, and we've been quietly fighting them ever since. Elena watched as dark, impossible shapes writhed at the edges of the tears, held back by barely visible quantum fields that she now realized extended throughout the galaxy. Earth hadn't just been protecting developing civilizations from natural disasters. They had been protecting all life from extra-dimensional horrors. This is why we can't join the collective, Chen explained. Your civilization's technology creates more fractures, making our job harder. Your bureaucracy would slow our response time to incursions. Your fear of the unknown would cause panic if your populations knew the truth. We stay isolated not out of arrogance, but because it's the most efficient way to protect everything we all hold dear. High Counselor Xaren's next transmission carried none of their previous authority. How long have you been fighting these things? Long enough to know we can't do it forever alone, Chen replied. That's why we've been guiding other civilizations, secretly nudging their development toward sustainable technologies. The collected ships are currently arranged in a quantum defense pattern. Look at how reality behaves around you. Feel how your ships are now part of a greater whole. This is what cooperation with Earth actually looks like. As the collective fleet maintained their defensive position, more rifts became visible throughout nearby space. Earth ships, hundreds of them, shimmered into view, their quantum fields holding back the darkness. Elena realized she was witnessing something unprecedented. The moment when humanity revealed not just their power, but the true burden they had been silently bearing for centuries. The question now was, would the collective learn from this lesson in humility, or would their fear drive them to an even greater confrontation? The Grand Observatory's holographic display shifted again, expanding to show the entire known galaxy. Elena watched alongside High Counselor Xaren as Captain Chen revealed the true scope of Earth's silent war. Quantum barriers flickered throughout space like a vast web, each strand holding back the darkness that lurked between dimensions. Your collective spans roughly 8% of the galaxy, Chen explained, highlighting a section of space. In that same region, we maintain over 10,000 quantum barriers, repair approximately 300 reality fractures per standard year, and prevent an average of 50 dimensional incursions. Xaren's biomechanical form rippled with distress. And you've been doing this alone. For centuries. Not entirely alone, Chen smiled, gesturing to another display. We've been carefully guiding several other civilizations toward quantum harmonics instead of brute force technologies. The Andromedans you recently discovered. Their unusual crystal-based tech is our handiwork. They'll be ready to join the fight in another century or so. Elena's mind raced as she processed the implications. The isolated civilizations we've encountered, they're all your projects. Some of them. Chen nodded. We look for species that show potential for understanding quantum harmonics, the ability to work with reality rather than against it. We guide their development subtly, usually through encrypted data packets that appear to be natural scientific discoveries. The display zoomed in on a familiar sector of space. Here's the collective's territory 50 years ago, Chen continued. Watch what happens when we show the reality fractures your technology created. Thousands of small tears appeared in the holographic space, spreading like cracks in glass. Now watch what we did. Green lines of quantum energy appeared, containing and slowly repairing each fracture. Every time you launched a new faster-than-light drive or tested a gravity weapon, we were there, cleaning up the damage before it could spread. Exgeren's form had shifted to a deep blue, indicating profound shock in their species. Why didn't you just stop us? Prevent us from developing these technologies? Because that's not our way, Chen replied firmly. Humanity learned long ago that forcing other species to follow our path only leads to resistance and conflict. Instead, we protect, we guide, and we wait for understanding to come naturally. The observatory's view shifted to Earth itself, revealing layers upon layers of quantum technology that had been invisible even to Elena's advanced sensors. The entire planet was encased in fields of possibility, each layer working in perfect harmony with natural laws rather than forcing them to bend. This is why we declined membership in your collective, Chen explained. Your civilization's fundamental approach to technology is based on domination, forcing reality to obey your will. We chose a different path, partnership with the universe itself. A new alert pulsed through the quantum fields. Another dimensional tear was forming, this one larger than usual. Elena watched in awe as Earth's defense network responded. Instead of weapons or shields, they deployed waves of quantum harmony that resonated with space-time itself, gently persuading reality to heal its own wounds. Beautiful, isn't it? Chen smiled at their reactions. This is what we've been trying to show you. The universe isn't something to be conquered or controlled. It's a partner in existence, and when you work with it rather than against it, anything is possible. Exgeren's form shifted again, this time to a deep green of contemplation. Your quantum harmonics. Could the collective learn this approach? That's why we reveal ourselves now. Chen nodded. Your civilization stands at a crossroads. Continue on your current path, and you'll create more fractures than we can repair. Or, she gestured, and a new set of quantum equations appeared in the air. You could learn a better way. Elena studied the equations with her enhanced mind. They were deceptively simple, yet they pointed toward an entirely new understanding of physics. These would revolutionize our entire technological base, she breathed. The energy requirements alone would drop to a fraction of our current needs. That's just the beginning, Chen agreed. But understanding quantum harmonics requires more than just technological change. It requires a philosophical shift. Your entire civilization would need to learn to work with reality rather than trying to impose your will upon it. The display showed more tiers forming throughout collective space, along with the Earth ships quietly repairing them. We're offering you a choice, Chen continued. Not membership in Earth's protection network. You're not ready for that yet. But a chance to learn, to grow, to develop in harmony with the universe rather than in conflict with it. Exgeren's form stabilized into a crystalline pattern that Elena recognized as their most formal configuration. And if we refuse, then we'll continue protecting you from the consequences of your choices, Chen said simply. We'll repair your fractures, fight off dimensional incursions, and wait for you to discover this path on your own. That's what guardians do. As Elena watched the quantum barriers shifting and flowing through space, she realized humanity had achieved something far greater than mere technological superiority. They had discovered a fundamental truth about existence itself, and rather than using it for power or control, they had chosen to become the galaxy's silent protectors, patiently waiting for others to understand. The question was, Would the collective be wise enough to accept this lesson in humility and begin their own journey toward quantum harmony? One standard year later, Elena stood in the newly constructed Quantum Harmony Center on the collective's capital world. Through its reality-enhanced windows, she could see the first attempts at quantum harmonic technology taking shape, ships that worked with space-time rather than against it, power systems that drew energy without creating dimensional stress, and the beginning of a true defense network against the horrors that lurked between realities. High Counselor Xarin, their form now permanently shifted to include patterns of quantum resonance, addressed the gathered representatives. The past year has challenged everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe. Earth's revelations have forced us to confront not just our technological limitations, but our philosophical ones as well. The holographic displays showed the progress they'd made. Already, reality fractures in collective space had decreased by 30%. More importantly, 3 other civilizations had been contacted and begun their own journeys toward quantum harmony, guided jointly by Earth and the collective. Captain Chen materialized in the chamber, her form shimmering with quantum energy. The fact that Earth now felt comfortable sharing their quantum projection technology spoke volumes about how far they'd come. "Your progress is impressive," she acknowledged. "Especially your work with the Centauri clusters. We've been trying to stabilize those fractures for decades." Elena, now serving as the collective's chief of quantum development, felt pride in their achievements. The transition hadn't been easy. Many members of the collective had initially resisted abandoning their traditional technologies. But the evidence had been impossible to ignore. Every quantum harmonic device they activated strengthened the fabric of reality itself, while their old technology had been slowly tearing it apart. "We've detected increasing dimensional pressure," Chen continued, her expression growing serious. "The entities on the other side, they're becoming more aggressive, more organized. We believe they've realized we're actively repairing the damage they've been exploiting." The chamber darkened as she showed them new data from Earth's long-range quantum sensors. The tiers in reality were changing, showing patterns that suggested intelligence and purpose rather than random dimensional chaos. "This is why we finally revealed ourselves," Chen explained. "The silent war is evolving. We need allies who understand what we're fighting and why." Jaren's form pulsed with determination. "The collective is ready to take a more active role. Our quantum harmonics may be primitive compared to Earth's, but we've already developed innovations you hadn't considered. The crystal resonance matrices our scientists created last month are brilliant," Chen finished with a smile. "They approach quantum harmony from an angle we never considered. This is exactly why we believe in guiding rather than controlling development. Every civilization brings its own unique perspective to the challenge." Elena activated her own quantum interface, showing the prototype they'd been developing. "We think we found a way to not just repair reality fractures, but to actually strengthen the underlying fabric of space-time. If it works, we could potentially prevent tiers from forming in the first place." "More than that," Chen added, expanding the display. "Combined with Earth's existing quantum barriers, this technology could help us establish permanent dimensional stability across entire sectors. For the first time, we might be able to do more than just react to incursions. We could prevent them entirely." The chamber filled with excited discussion as representatives from across the collective shared their own developments and theories. Elena marveled at how much had changed. A year ago, these same beings had been ready to go to war with Earth. Now they were working together to protect reality itself. A new alert pulsed through the quantum network. Another dimensional tear was forming, larger than any they'd seen before. But this time, Earth's ships weren't the only ones responding. The new collective quantum vessels moved in perfect harmony with their human counterparts, their combined technologies working to heal the fabric of space-time. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Chen said softly to Elena as they watched the joint operation. "This is what we've been working toward for centuries, not just protecting other civilizations, but teaching them to become protectors themselves." Elena understood now why humanity had chosen their path of silent guardianship. They hadn't isolated themselves out of fear or arrogance, but out of a deep understanding of their role in the galaxy's evolution. They had become not just defenders against the darkness, but teachers, guides, and partners to those who were ready to join them. As the quantum barriers pulsed with combined Earth and collective energy, Alina saw the truth of humanity's greatest achievement. They had discovered perhaps the most powerful force in the universe, the ability to work in harmony with reality itself. And their greatest victory wasn't in mastering this power, but in teaching others to share in its responsibility. The silent war would continue, but Earth was no longer fighting alone. A new age of quantum harmony was dawning, and with it, a new understanding of humanity's role in the cosmic dance. They weren't conquerors or rulers, but guardians and teachers, leading by example toward a future where all civilizations might learn to work in partnership with the very fabric of reality itself. In the end, that was humanity's true power, not their advanced technology or their ability to manipulate quantum forces, but their capacity to show others a better way forward, their patience in waiting for understanding to blossom naturally, and their wisdom in knowing that the greatest victories come not from domination, but from harmony.